I just want to start this video with a warning. I will be showing some pictures of my recent injury, and one of them in particular is really quite gruesome, so you've been warned. I realise that a lot of this video is just going to be me rambling about what's happened, so it might not be the most interesting video, but I think it'll be good just to have a record of it, even if just for me, so I can look back on it and see the difference from where I started and where I end up after the injury. So I recently got injured again. It started on Saturday the 18th of November. So Camperdown was off, so my dad and I went to Lochleven Parkrun. We'd been there, that was the third week in a row we were there actually. So we were at Lochleven and it was quite cold and very wet, but everything was going fine until about 200 metres from the end when I fell. I'm not sure exactly how it happened. It happened about here at this spot. And I was overtaking someone who was finishing her first lap, but she heard me coming. She moved to the left-hand side of the path and gave me plenty of space, so it wasn't her fault. And so I saw that and I moved to the right-hand side, and I think I maybe just went too far to the right, and so I think I ended up stepping slightly off the path onto the grass, and it was wet and slippy. That's my guess anyway. It was all very quick. I wish I got it on camera, because it would have looked fantastic. So I fell, my left knee went down, I rolled over across my right shoulder, which got a little bit scratched up, but nothing too bad. I say that like I meant it. I didn't really mean to roll over, just my momentum just took me. But I was able to get straight back up on my feet and keep running to the end. Like I said, it was only about 200 metres, so it didn't take too long to get there. And it hurt, but it wasn't awful. So I thought that I'd just skin my knee and it would be a bit unpleasant. So I got to the end, looked down and realised it was a bit worse than I thought. I wasn't looking at my knee, I was looking into my knee, because it was like this. So it was much worse than I initially thought. So after I finished, I got myself scanned, and then Hilary, the run director, she was great. She patched me up, got a bandage on me initially, and then when my dad finished, we went straight to A&E. So I've got this picture in the car on the way, and then a picture when I got there as well. So I got assessed before too long, and the first nurse that assessed me had, I think, the best reaction that anyone's had to this. Most people, as you can imagine, when they see the state of my leg, if I show them that picture, they have a pretty good reaction. But I made a comment to this nurse about something about wanting to see what it looks like now, or getting a picture of it. I can't exactly remember. But she peeled the bandage back a little bit and then covered it back up and said, "Are you sure you want to see this?" And it just, the way she covered it back up, it was just perfect comedic timing, even though she didn't mean it like that. But yeah, so she cleaned it up a little bit, and she's the one that took that really nasty looking picture. And the doctor that was dealing with me in A&E, she also had a really good reaction when she saw it. She kind of came up to the end of the little sort of bay that I was lying in, looked at me and just kind of went, it was a proper, like, yeah, nice one, sort of look. So that was quite funny. But I got it cleaned out with a whole bottle of saline, a massive syringe to kind of squirt it in, and a toothbrush. That's not a joke. It didn't scrub the whole thing with the toothbrush. That was more just for getting the grit from around the edges. There's an image for you. Thinking back about it now, I wish I did get some video of getting it cleaned, because that would have been great to have in the video. But anyway, once it was cleaned, we had a proper look at it, and it wasn't going to be quite as easy as just stitching it back up. Now in the picture you can just about see the sort of skin flap that was there, and it did actually fold over nicely, so in theory they could have stitched it, but the problem is by the time we got there it was sort of grey and dead, so they didn't want to just stitch up dead skin and have it fail to sort of heal properly and get infected. So they knew they'd have to cut a bit away, and yeah, it wasn't as easy as just stitching it straight back up. So they wanted plastics to assess me, and took a bit of time until somebody was available. They came and had a look at me, and wanted me to get an x-ray as well, just to make sure there's no other damage and no sort of stones and things inside, I guess. The x-ray was all fine, but then plastics also wanted orthopedics to have a look at me, because they thought it might be better for orthopedics to treat me. So then when orthopedics saw me, they said that, yeah, they would deal with it. So it was a bit of sort of back and forward in terms of who was going to be dealing with me. And by the time we'd figured that out, it was a bit late in the day to be seen. Well, possibly. They said they might be able to get me into theatre that night, but they didn't know for sure. It just depends on how quickly they dealt with the other people they had. So I wasn't able to eat anything just in case. That morning, I'd had a black coffee, and then when I got to hospital, I had a tiny little bit of water for taking some paracetamol as well, and that was it. All I had all day. So that wasn't great. So I spent most of the day in A&E before I was moved to a ward, and I eventually found out that no, I wouldn't be getting seen that day, so I need to stay overnight, and I'd get taken into theatre on Sunday. So my dad went and got me, what was it? I think it was 2 cheese and ham paninis, a box of chips, and a wee tub of soup. And oh, that was good. That was really good. After a day of having nothing at all, that was just amazing. So I was kept in overnight, and I think it was on the Sunday, my dad put a post in the Parkrun Friends Scotland Facebook group, just to tell people what had happened and say thanks to the Loch Leven team. And I got so much support on that. Everyone was wishing me well and hoping that I'd recover soon and that it wasn't too bad. Really nice messages, really good support from everyone. So yeah, Parkrun, it really is just the greatest community with great people. I've got more on that in a bit as well. But yeah, just really, really nice people and messages. And speaking of which, Hilary, the run director from Loch Leven, she was in touch all the way through Saturday and Sunday, and she's been in touch a bunch since then as well, just checking up, seeing how I'm doing. She's brilliant. And the 2 guys who finished near me at Loch Leven as well, I was second, but the guys in first and third weren't too far away from me. And they saw the state of my leg afterwards as well, so I got messages from them on Strava as well. So yeah, just great people. I think my least favourite part about having to stay in overnight was the fact that I wouldn't be able to go to Baxter Park Junior Parkrun to volunteer. Now the last time I didn't volunteer at a Baxter Park Junior Parkrun event was event number 15, and that was December 2021. So it's been almost 2 years of being at every single event they've held, and so I wasn't happy about not being able to volunteer until my dad pointed out that I could maybe sort the tokens if someone brings them to me. So even though I didn't get to go there, I was still able to volunteer, which I was really happy about.
My little mini-me is not here today. He had a bit of an injury yesterday. So instead of the parkrun, we're going to do something a little bit different. So instead of the P-A-R-K-R-U-N, we're going to go, give me an S, give me an A, and give me an M. Okay? Is everyone ready?
Yes!
Is everyone ready?
Yes! Not so ready.
Everyone, give me an S! S! Give me an A!
A!
And give me an M! Jump in there and say, get well soon, Sam! Thank you, everybody!
So I went into theatre on Sunday afternoon and was able to leave the hospital on Sunday evening. I had to walk out with crutches, and it was awkward because I couldn't bend my left leg so that I didn't rip out the stitches. I had a brace to keep everything straight. It was quite sore and awkward and very slow, but I managed to get there. Well, it's been just leaving the ward now. Everyone's been great. So my right leg's totally fine. My left leg, I can't really bend it. I'm not going to be able to for a while. Just had a massive hole sewn up in it. So yeah, it's quite awkward, but I'm getting the hang of these crutches. Just no parkruns for a while. Well, no running them at least. So my uncle drove me home, which was brilliant. And not long after I got home, my other uncle, who got me into parkrun in the first place, he came over with one of our friends as well. So my uncle got me a wee present. He got me the Harry Potter Room of Requirement Lego set, just to keep me busy while I was injured. That was great. It's a really cool set as well. And my friend AJ, she came over with some, a lot of it's off now, but a nail polish set. And some little sort of detail brushes for nail polish as well. I'm not very sort of visually artistic, so I tried to do something cool with that. Didn't really work, but I'll keep trying. But they are very nice nail polishes. Yeah, they're very nice nail polishes. So yeah, thanks again to AJ as well. And of course, they also brought the finish tokens from that day's junior parkrun for me to sort, which I did the following day.
And it won't completely make up for no parkruns for a couple of weeks. But I might take the edge off.
That'll keep me busy. Jeez,
Thank you.
Bloody hell, yes. Heavy. Yeah, that'll keep you going for a while. So speaking of the following day, I went to the GP and got stronger painkillers, because the ones I got from the hospital were paracetamol and ibuprofen. So I went to the GP and got some good stuff. She was my old boss as well, so it was good to see her. And she saw the picture and described it as juicy, which I thought was quite good. And then that night I got started on the Lego and sorted the tokens, of course. I was able to walk a little bit on Tuesday, and with help from my dad, we were able to go and get some trousers and shoes that I needed for an upcoming job interview. And we've got a clip of me getting out of the car at the shops, and you can see I had to sort of go sideways because moving my leg straight forward or straight back was really quite sore, but sideways was okay. So when I was getting out of the car, I had to, or getting in or out of the car, I had to just go sideways. And same with getting on and off chairs and things. It was pretty awkward, but I'd manage eventually. Then on the Wednesday morning, I had 2 back-to-back job interviews, which was again quite awkward, just being on my feet the whole time. I didn't sit down for the interviews just because it would be awkward getting in and out of a chair. So if I was standing, that was okay. If I was sitting down for any length of time, that was fine. But getting up or getting down was really difficult. So for the sake of a few minutes in the interview, I was better to just stay standing. So I didn't get the offer for the first interview, but I did get the offer for the second one. So hopefully I'll be starting that fairly soon. Now, on the Friday of that week, I got a call from the hospital, not about my knee, but about the job interview I had. And they wanted me to come up to sign some things. So I managed to get there by myself. And it would have normally taken about 15 minutes to walk each way, but it took over an hour each way to get there. But I managed, although by the time I got home I was really quite tired and a wee bit sore. But when I opened the door, I saw that something had been posted through the door. So I opened it and found this. That was some prescription chocolates sent to me by Lynn Zabek and the rest of the Lochleven parkrun team. Like I said earlier, it's just the best community. I really love parkrun. Always has the best people. It's worth mentioning now as well that Lynn once wanted to make me a cake for when I was going to get my 100th volunteer at parkrun, but I wasn't going to see her that day, so instead she made a cake for my 99th volunteer instead. So yeah, just brilliant people at parkrun. The following day, my dad and I went to Dunfermline parkrun. I was marshalling, he was running, and we were there for the Parkrun Friends Scotland birthday bash. So yeah, I've got another video on that in a bit more detail if you want to see the whole thing there. That was a really good day. And Mark Sutherland, one of the run directors at Falkirk, he saw me there. I met him once before when I was at Falkirk, and he came over towards the end of the event bringing me a coffee, just checking up on me, seeing how I was. Yet another example of just how great parkrunners are. So yeah, it was good seeing him again, and after sitting out in the cold for an hour or so, I really needed that coffee. I was able to get to Baxter Park the next day to volunteer at Junior Parkrun as well. So I marshalled during the event, and then I did token sorting afterwards with my buddy Connor. And I also got a present from a good friends, Josh and Pauline Mackay, who got me one of the very lovely pink parkrun hats. And I've got one of the black ones, it is really cool, but the pink one's even better. If you haven't seen many of my videos, you might not know, but I have a thing for wearing pink running stuff. Once again, another example of just how lovely parkrunners are, or at least the ones I know. The Thursday of that week, I managed to go for a walk, not a long one, but I managed to go for a walk without needing my crutches. I didn't even have the brace on either, actually, so I still had to keep my legs straight, but I managed fine without the brace on, so I was glad that it was just more progress, which is good. And the morning after that, so on the Friday, my dad and I took the stitches out. that was great fun. If you've ever get the chance to take out some stitches, do it. It's really satisfying. Yep. You remember I said I've got some numbness in my leg?
Yeah.
Actually goes up to there.
It's not a bad thing.
I think there's like 2 knots there.
No. Oh, that was the one you had. This is the last one.
It's easier.
You okay?
And there we go. So yeah, that was the easy part now. A little bends. And it just really nervous. The muscles don't want to let me. I've got about 2 weeks not letting myself bend it. This is strange.
So maybe give it a run tomorrow, Misha.
This is weird. I can't let myself bend it any more than this. I thought this would happen. So bending it there is fine. So if I can just walk. Trying to walk reasonably normally. Can't. I spent 2 weeks keeping this leg completely straight. It's just that my brain won't let me bend it. Okay, so we put the camera off for a second while he bent my knee up. And it's kind of sore, but in a really good way, so I had to put it back on. It feels kind of like a massage in that it hurts, but it's really good. Right, hold on. It feels strange. It's not just my knee, it's my whole kind of upper leg. Oh.
Just got to keep it there. I'm not going to push it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, but it does hurt a bit. But again, I'm not like, oh, that's really bad. It's just that kind of. Oh.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
Yeah.
Were you?
Oh yeah, I was sitting last night thinking that, yeah, I knew the stitches were going to be the easy part. The awkward thing was going to be taking it up. So I tried to bend my leg a little yesterday, just as much as I would let myself, and it wasn't hurting. But even then, it's like I couldn't actually bring myself to bend it enough to make it hurt.
Try and bend up yourself. A bit easier than before.
Oh yeah. Whew.
That's what you've got to keep doing.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Whew. That's fine, we'll get there. But just to compare this to what it was like 2 weeks ago. And that's pretty incredible, I think. The day after I got my stitches out, I volunteered at Camperdown again. So I walked there to begin with. I was timekeeping, so I was on my feet the whole time. My dad was funnel manager as well that day. And then I went for a long walk home afterwards too. So I was on my feet a lot without really a break in between. So I was very tired and very sore at the end of it, but it was good. It was quite a memorable event as well. It was really cold and started to snow about 20-25 minutes in. So that made things even colder, but at least it made for some really good pictures. The downside of the snow did mean that Baxter Park was cancelled for the following day, which is a shame, but you know, there's always the following week. So throughout the next week, I just tried to stay fairly active, make sure I was walking a good amount, And then on the Saturday, which was the 9th of December, again, I walked to Camperdown. By this point, things were much improved. I was even able to jog maybe 150 metres on the way. It was still hurt a bit and it was uncomfortable, but it wasn't awful. I wasn't wincing at the pain or anything. I had a big cheesy smile on my face because I was just like, I can run. So we went there. No snow that week, which was good. So I was funnel managing, and my dad ran that week. So he ran with my cousin who's visiting. So yeah, it was good getting to see her as well. That was also the first time since I fell that I'd seen Tom Farden, one of the Camperdown Run directors. When he saw me, he came over and gave me a big hug and was asking how I was doing and everything, because he knew what had happened. He'd seen the pictures, but he just hadn't seen me since I fell. But that was really nice as well. So I feel like I keep saying, oh, everyone's been really nice, but they are. So we've got things like the presents from Lee and AJ, the chocolates from the Loch Leven crew, and Hillary just checking up on me. And Lynn as well, she messaged me as well to ask how it was getting on. We've got the coffee from Mark and the hat from the Mackays and just all the support in Parkrun Friends Scotland. It's just, really is just the best group of people. So yeah, thanks to everyone who's kind of shown some support in some way or another. I really appreciate it. It really makes a difference. I filmed all this on the 14th of December. So that's, I think, 26 days since I fell, 25 since my surgery. And I'm going to try and go for a run today. Let's go. It's a bit awkward, but I'm managing. So if I can manage this, then Camperdown on Saturday should be fine. The big test now is going to be the downhill section, because flat's okay, up is okay. I have to wait and see how my knee manages going downhill. Almost at the top of the hill. Then it's pretty much all downhill. Let's see how that goes. That's about 3k. So far so good. But I haven't hit the real downhill yet. So we'll see. Okay, just got an unpleasant twinge there. I think I'm going to walk for the rest of this now. I knew that might happen, but I'd rather, if I have any issues, that it happen now instead of 3k into a parkrun. That'd be a bit more annoying. At least now I know that I'm not going to be fit to run on Saturday, so I can volunteer instead. Even though I had a bit of an issue while running there still has been a noticeable improvement from one day to the next. So I'm thinking, if I give it another week and try next Thursday, it should be quite a good improvement again. And that way I'll know, if it goes on Thursday again, then I'll know that I can't run on Saturday. And if it's okay, then I know that should be okay for Saturday. Again, I'd rather find out on a run like this than be 3k into a parkrun and have to either stop and walk to the end or just give up. I'd rather know from the start that no, I'm not going to be able to run, and so I can just volunteer. But still, it's improvement. You know, on Saturday there, I was really chuffed at being able to run about 150 metres. So managing 3k, well, more than 3k just, before I had any issues today, it's an improvement. So yeah, like I said, in a week's time things should be much better, and hopefully I'll make it all the way around. So now it's Thursday the 21st of December and I'm going to have a go at another run today. It's been very wet and very windy so far today, but I seem to have just caught a window where it's dry and not too windy at all, so this should hopefully be pretty good.
Oh, that is good. Oh, that is really good. That's even better than last week. Okay, I definitely spoke a bit too soon and took off a bit too fast. I wasn't trying to. The first few steps just felt like nothing. Barely even uncomfortable, never mind sore. But then fairly quickly I started to feel it again. But still, it's much better than last week. And it's eased off a bit compared to how it started. Feels crazy how out of breath I am though. My heart rate is currently about 166. And my average pace is about 5:26. This time, a couple of months ago, I'd run this same K, same heart rate, a minute and a half faster. Crazy. But last week, I got quite lucky with the traffic. Didn't have to stop. But today I had to stop for a good 30 seconds at least, I think. So my time will be slower than what I'm really capable of. But I think that stopping for 30 seconds or so probably isn't going to do me any harm, especially after everything that I've been through. Although speaking of which, my leg is looking great, healing really nicely, and it's still going to be a cracking scar. There we go, that's 2K. Now we've got a couple of minutes of climbing this hill, then it's mostly flat for a while, and then a good chunk of downhill. It was on the flat that my leg went last week. Hopefully I can manage okay today. I've reached the top of the hill now, on the flat section, coming up for 3K. Still good. Any second now. There we go. 3K in 17 minutes. That'll do. If I can do 3.26, I've beaten last week. And I've done it. That's more than last week. That's progress. Now the big test is going downhill. That was one of my big concerns. I've been making an effort not to push myself too hard, especially down the hill. But so far this is fine. I've got probably less than half a K to go.
I was about to speak to the camera, then realised I can't see. Give me a second. There we go. So that was just under 4.5K in about 24:42, including the stop for traffic. No real issues. It was a bit, like I said, the first few steps felt like nothing, and then quickly I was able to feel it again. But it wasn't bad. It was It's like you've got a bruise that's going to be gone in 2 days. It's almost completely healed, and there's just that slight sort of unpleasantness when there's pressure. But it's not that bad at all. And actually, the more I ran, the better it got. So that's lots of really good signs. Like I said, I'm surprisingly, well, not really surprising after the amount of time I've taken off, but I'm noticeably out of breath, especially when you consider the paces that I'm doing compared to what I used to do. But I don't really care, I can run. Yeah, I've missed this. Bring on Saturday.